A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone. We are very glad to have with us today Dr. Falguni Vasavada Oza. She is a double gold medalist working as an associate professor, head of the marketing area, and the chairperson of online programs at MICA. She has her total number of work experience has been 17 years, out of which she has given 11 precious years to MICA. Prior to MICA, she has worked with the MBA department of Saurashastra University and Christ College. Dr. Falguni has researched and published papers on cross-cultural communication, content analysis, planning, and portrayals in advertising. Currently, she is working on advertising and IMC, account planning, social media insights, youth as consumers, portrayals in advertising, content analysis of commercials and public relations, etc. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree in business administration and a PhD in advertising. A very warm welcome, ma'am. We are very glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, ma'am, the MBA Club India community waits to listen to your advices. So shall we start with the questions?
Yeah, sure. I'll try my best to give you insights based on whatever experience I've accumulated over the years and all my readings in my area. So we can start off.
Great, ma'am. The first question is from traditional media to social media. How do you see the B schools, especially with that of MICA, curriculum adopting to it?
Yeah. So see, as we all know, the change has been so huge and so drastic, right? From traditional to social media, that there is no way you can shy away from this change. You will have to accept it, adopt it, adapt also your curriculum. So some schools get it in a very unpleasant way. So they are shocked with the change because no longer things which they taught are relevant because they taught traditional media. And now all of a sudden things are going digital. There are virtually alive consumers. There are 24-hour, Twitter, Facebook accounts which are operating. And yesterday I was reading a chart which said that data does not sleep. So the number of tweets go on increasing, the number of people mentions go on increasing, the number of people posting on Instagram will go on increasing day in and day out, right? So, hello, Deepika, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, but for a school like MICA, I believe that when there are schools which are positioned as being thought leaders in their own domain, in their own area, we have to innovate our curriculum. Almost every year we do that process. So before 3 years, we have introduced a new specialization in the MICA curriculum, which is called Digital Communication Management, where social media is a very integral part of the entire broad umbrella of digital communications, and plus in other courses, wherever there is advertising, wherever there is media, wherever there is consumer behavior references, in all those courses digital has entered because there is no way we can stop digital from entering. So all our curriculums have been reworked. Just to give you a simple example, there is a course in MICA called Corporate Communication and Reputation Management, right, which is being taught since 10 years. So it's not a new course, but over the years we have seen the influence that digital brings to the corporate image of a firm, right, to the reputation of a company. So now we are teaching online reputation management, we are teaching online tools which are available to companies. How do they track what people are tweeting about their brand, and how reputations are being managed, maintained, and enhanced by companies. So number one, every course has gone through a makeover, and number two, because it is a large opportunity, there's a new specialization also which creates specialists who will specialize in the field of digital. So MICA has, I think, been way ahead. It was one of the first schools to launch digital communication management as a specialization.
Yes, ma'am. These are the wonderful things that MICA is doing, and no wonder MICA is at the head of advertising and a leading college in such industry. The next question would be, what are some of the evolving advertising strategies that companies are adopting in India?
Okay, so advertising has gone through a massive change world over, and of course, India is also following up in that change. Though you may see the change at a very nascent stage as far as our country is concerned, but we are taking giant steps. What started as baby steps now have become giant steps. And I think advertising is one field where you can abuse, you can hate, you can love, but you cannot ignore, right? So it's like, I believe, of course, I'm saying in my personal capacity, it's like Narendra Modi. You can love him, hate him, but you cannot ignore him. It's all over. Okay. So advertising also is one such field. Many people say that it's an investment. Many people say it's a wastage. But, you know, so years ago, a author had said that doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl with your sunglasses on. Only you know you are winking, the target doesn't know what you are doing. Okay, so of course, having established, because I'm an advertising teacher, having established the importance of advertising, it is evolving. It is there are too many changes which are happening in our country. Just to give you a few examples, digital has entered there also. So what used to be my media was my print, radio, magazine, outdoor, films, TV, right? These were my mainstream media options where I could telecast, broadcast, release my advertising efforts. That has shifted also now to digital. So you have a new media arm which has come up in advertising. The result of which is that advertising agencies are now going media neutral. So what kind of a creative idea do you think about? You think about a creative idea which is media neutral. The idea has to be bigger than the media. Are you getting my point? Right? So for example, you need a strong creative idea which can turn out into a TV ad, which can turn out into a Facebook page activation, which can turn out into a newspaper ad. So that is the biggest change that I have observed, that more and more agencies are adopting this philosophy of going media neutral and are actually implementing the concept which we called in academics as IMC, integrated marketing communication. So they are not thinking only main media, they're not thinking only new media, they're not thinking only advertising, but they are thinking of advertising as a strong component of the sum total of promotions that a brand will do, that IMC will do. So that is the second change. One is digital massively entering into advertising. Second is ideas are going media neutral. The third, the biggest, what should I say, the most strong trend that I'm witnessing right now is more and more brands are going into longer format films. So there is a 3-minute long film, there is a 4-minute long film. So for example, Wagh Bakri will show you a 3-minute long film about a disturbance between a husband and a wife and how, you know, the warmth of tea is helping them to get together for a cup of chai, right? Or you have this Adani Wilmar Fortune Foods, the edible oil ad where, you know, ghar ka khana hota hai. It's a 4-minute long film. Now these are basically released on mediums, like they're released once on TV, but mostly they're meant for YouTube. Okay, so they are released on YouTube. Now, why this trend is going stronger? Because people are seeing it as a story, and the story is generating conversations. So people start talking about it, right? The moment you see a very nice, emotional, a heart-clenching film, you talk about it on Twitter, on your social media groups, on WhatsApp. You will forward the link. You will ask someone that, did you see the Milton, you know, army film? And hey, the person wants to see it. So I think that is the third most important trend. And the fourth most important change that I'm witnessing in advertising is that thanks to digital, from one way it is going two-way. So from the brand telling something to the consumer, now the brand also wants to listen to what the consumer is telling to them. So it's becoming a two-way communication. There are lots and lots of efforts which are being put up on engaging the consumer, getting the consumer to generate content. Just to give you an example, Sprite brand, we all know the brand, right? It started with Sprite Bujaye Pyas Baki Sab Bakwas. So the Sprite brand was finding it very tough to connect to the teenagers. The teenagers were very loyal to things like Red Bull, a thumbs up, but they were not loyal to, they were not asking for the Sprite brand. And that's when Sprite thought that only TV ads won't help. We need consumer engagement. So what they did was they created a web page called Teen Till I Die. Okay, so it's on the Sprite website. It takes you to the link teentillidie.com. Now there you have to generate content using your mobile phone as a video camera. You have to do some wacky situations, you have to do some naughtanki, you have to do some fusion music, you have to do some, like for example, there are three girls in a college using only the desk and the chair as musical instruments, and they are doing fusion of Padharo Mare Des, which is a Rajasthani folk song, with the summer of 69. Okay, and this is the wackiness that they were asking for. Generated around 6,000 videos in 2 months. So advertising is moving from being one way to being two-way. So I think if I quickly, conclude on this question, number one, massive influence of digital. Number two, agencies trying to create media neutral ideas, which have strong IMC foundation, integrated marketing communication. Third, the emerging trend of long format films from
Right.
30-second TVC to 4-minute films. And
Right.
fourth, more and more consumer driven engagements.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's yes, wonderful 4 points that our students and the entire community, not just students, I think even the professionals and other members would benefit from. Yes, from what you
Yeah.
are telling. Strategies. Yes, when you talk about them, we realize that how important they are, and the marketer's game is going to get tougher and tougher every day.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. Ma'am, everybody talks of big data. Are
Yeah.
marketing students prepping up well for it to work with analytics and other teams?
In fact, that is one area where industry right now is facing a lot of crunch as far as professionally skilled people are concerned. So they have lots of data, but they don't have specialists who can tell them what to do with this data, right? So data, and why big data? Because we all are online all the time. So for example, yesterday I was reading about how Myntra has gone app only. So now Myntra shopping you can do only through your mobile phone, through the Myntra app in your smartphone. You no longer can log in onto their website or do it from your desktop. It's a mobile app only. Now, why has Myntra all of a sudden taken this decision? Number one, because of course the penetration of mobile phones in India. Number two, smartphones. Number three, people using 3G on smartphones. But what is the biggest advantage for a company like Myntra is the moment you are shopping, Deepika, from your mobile phone, what will happen is Myntra gets lots of data on your likes and dislikes,
Right.
right? So you have shortlisted 3 colors of skirts, out of which on 3 occasions you chose only pastels. That means that the products that I should target to you should be more pastel rather than loud and bright colors. Right.
Yes.
So things like these, your apps, your Twitter page, your Facebook page, the online presence, your website, wherever you click is generating big data. That's big data for companies, right? But your question is extremely valid. Are marketing students ready with what to do with this big data? Because it's like having a gold mine and not having business sense. So where do you sell your gold, right? Otherwise it remains a mine. It's no longer a gold mine. So what we have started doing at MICA, and I'm sure I've also heard about from different IIMs, what they've started doing is they've started launching courses on big data. They have started creating software workshops for students where industry people will come and teach, because there are softwares which you have to use when you have to cull out data, insights from big data. So if I talk about MICA, we have a big data analytics course which comes under the marketing research specialization and the digital communication specialization. There are SPSS softwares, NVivo softwares. These are different softwares which teach you or help you in reducing data, filtering out, relevant data, wasted data, getting into consumer insights. So yes, we are conscious about the fact that there's a big gap as far as input and the requirement, demand supply is concerned. But I think we are getting there somewhere.
Right, ma'am.
As
Mega
I told you earlier, for digital, even for big data, we don't have a choice. We will have to prepare ourselves.
Yes, ma'am. Very aptly said. And yes, with the way the B schools are changing and I see MICA getting up, I wish I could just go back to MBA school once again.
I too wish, rather than being a faculty, I should have studied from here.
Okay, can we move on to the next question?
Sure.
So, ma'am, when it comes to advertising, every client or investor will have conversions in mind. So even I have clients talking to me and they will be like, what is the result that we are going to get? What are the leads that we are going to convert? And then what comes to my mind, and I think in the minds of everybody else, that is advertising about conversions or is it not?
Okay, so I'll tell you something like I think we are moving into a world which is becoming more and more ROI driven. ROI meaning return on investment. So we are moving into a world where every cost that you do, every cost center of the organization is being questioned, right? Can you see me, Deepika? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
every sector is facing this challenge of how do I become answerable, right? How do I become accountable? And advertising is not left behind. You are very true. So every client will ask the agency that you're asking me to come up with a budget of 5 crores. But is this 5 crores making any sense to my business? Right? Is this giving any kind of returns? So, yes, your worry is right, and it's a fact. Today, more and more agencies are becoming ROI driven. Today, more and more courses that we teach the value of, whatever you spend, whether you consider it as a cost or whether you consider it as an investment, there has to be an ROI angle to it. So conversions, I 100% agree. And conversion is a key word in digital because it's measurable. Are you getting my point? So the moment you release out, for example, you are release out a video of your institute, of an interview you had with the faculty on YouTube. It's measurable, right? How many people clicked on it? How many people saw the full video? How many people stopped midway and skipped the remaining part? That shows the effectiveness versus ineffectiveness. So thanks to digital, it is giving me lots of measurability. So conversion is the key thing there. But even advertising in general, if I talk of mass media like television, newspapers, magazines, billboards, airport advertising, outdoors, everything is being driven by conversions. But here conversions means that what was your objective with which you advertised? So for example, for a new brand which is entering into the market, the overall objective may be only to create awareness, right? And it has created awareness with the so-called advertising, then conversion has happened, the return on investment has happened. But what you are saying is true, that because of the focus on ROI, because of the focus on conversion, one very important area which is developing is research. So post advertising effectiveness measurement, right? How do you measure the effectiveness of your campaigns? So for example, when you were doing advertising without a celebrity, and now that you are doing advertising by bringing a celebrity in, has it made any difference in terms of perception, in terms of recall of your brand, in terms of people remembering your brand a little more, in terms of retention, for example? Right? So those questions have started coming in, and the validity of whatever you are doing in advertising is being questioned now because of two key things. Number one, digital is giving me a lot of measurement, lot of data, right?
Yes.
And number two, it is advertising is fighting with other promotional tools of IMC. So sales promotion, direct marketing, personal selling, public relations, and advertising. So out of the 5 options available to me, give me a logic. Why should I spend more on advertising? If you give me a logic, I will. Otherwise, why not go for the buy one, get one free game where I'll
Yes.
easily get my sales numbers?
Yes.
Right? So yes, we are strongly marching ahead towards an era where ROI will be everything, right? The response will be measured. It is right now being measured. So there are tools available with MR agencies which will track the response of your ad. They are called advertising tracking tools,
Right.
right? So after the exposure on day one, how many people have seen and remembered the ad? After 10
Right.
days of exposure, what is the difference? After 20 days of exposure, what is the difference? So there are tracking tools, advertising tracking tools, brand tracking tools. How has the brand become stronger in these 10 days of support that the brand has got from advertising?
Right.
Okay, so we are moving to a very, very sophisticated era of research, effectiveness, measurement, conversions, and therefore ROI. Because clients have too many options for to spend their money on. Why will they spend only on advertising? Only if you give them the results.
Right. Right.
Yeah?
So conversions and ROI is going to get important. It is important to the client. And
Yes.
we have to find a way to how to convince them and what tracking tools would give the results. And so we have to be really inside the marketing and advertising game if we need to have clients all the time.
Yes.
Now, next question is, social media consultants are everywhere these days, but we
Yeah.
also see several abandoned pages, poor engagement, poor consistency. What is your take on it?
Yeah, in fact, I totally agree with your first statement that social media consultants are everywhere. So if I am active on Facebook and Twitter, am I a social media consultant? A big no, right? Because I may be very enthusiastic person on social media, but that does not make me an expert in social media space. In fact, if I draw an analogy, there was a time when I had graduated, when I passed my 12th, everybody would say that, their son or daughter is doing CA, chartered accountancy. But whether the person finished CA or not, but it was in style, it was in fashion to say that wo CA kar raha hai, along with his commerce, he's doing CA. So every other person now around me has become a social media expert, but I don't think it's that easy, okay? Because as you are correctly saying, it's a child's job today. Children around me who are 5 year, 6 year old have email accounts, have Instagram accounts, have Twitter accounts, have Facebook pages, right? So they are the generations who have been born with technology, not like you and me who graduated to technology, okay? So for them to understand social media, it's like a kid's job. But having said that, is social media strategy all about creating a page? No, surviving the page. That's the strategy all about, right? So it's very easy to create a Twitter handle, it's very easy to create an Instagram account, your own Facebook page, your own blog for that matter. But can you maintain and grow stronger day by day? That's the question. So for example, if 4,000 people have liked your page, does it mean anything? No, it doesn't mean anything. So I have 4,000 friends. I can pressurize them to like a page. But after that, what? Again, the question of conversion comes here, right? The effectiveness angle will come here. So to create something on social media is the easiest, but to maintain and develop and make it grow stronger day by day, it's the most difficult. So how do I do that? So there is a saying where we say that, to make someone walk, I will have to run.
Okay.
Okay, to make someone walk, I have to
Okay.
run. And I'm
Right.
I'm living in an age where data never sleeps.
Yes.
Right? So if I understand that, then I'm a social media marketer. Then I'm a true social media consultant. So to drive engagement, I need to go and check the pulse of the people. What is driving them? Why will they engage? Now, does a stranger you meet on a metro train in Delhi, will he start talking to you? Of course, no. He will not talk to you till there is something in common. Still, there is a trigger. If there is something motivation behind it, only then the person is going to talk and respond. Similarly, you will have to talk about your followers. So your followers are your base of consumers whom you will have to understand thoroughly. You will have to know their pulse. You will have to know what is it that it keeps them going, right? So if you are talking to a 14-year-old, how do you make him engage with you in a dialogue on Twitter? Then you know that a 14-year-old is looking for freebies. Give
Yes.
more and more contest. But the same contest strategy will not work with a 25-year-old, right? Because he has moved in that phase of life a little one step ahead. So I think you need to know your consumer, you need to know their insights well, you need to know their behaviors well, you need to know what works with them, and most importantly, what doesn't work with them. What are the gray areas which you should not touch, right? And but for doing that, remember the statement which I made earlier, for making them like your post, you will have to post 10 posts. Out of 10, they may like one. So you will have to have your engagement strategy and the plan, rollout plan in place, what will keep them going. Because otherwise it dies a slow death. Otherwise it just remains a Facebook page. Just to give you an example, the Facebook page of Coca-Cola worldwide, is run and managed by a fan, official page. Okay, so a fan started the Coca-Cola page and got so much of response that the company took note of it and thought that let us take it from him since it's becoming the official page. Coca-Cola official page, no one was seeing. This unofficial was becoming official. So
Right.
Coca-Cola company went and took interest, talked to that guy, and they stopped their company page and gave him the powers to run the
Right.
official page of Coca-Cola because that looked like a very good strategy for them. So you will have to be a little ahead of time in terms like this, right? You'll have to be a little proactive. But
Yes.
most importantly, it is the game of understanding your followers. Yeah?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's interesting. I didn't know that the story about Coca-Cola, and of course,
Yeah.
it's very inspiring also. Uh, Now, next question, ma'am. Next thing that has taken the education world by storm is online courses.
Yeah.
You yourself run advertising and PR programs
Yeah.
online. Would you like to share with our audiences what are the pros and cons of the same?
Sure, sure. In fact, there are two types of online programs that the world is witnessing. One is the free, massive open online courses, MOOS. So, massive open online courses are free, online, available to all, right? And then there are courses run by institutes like MICA, MDI, IIM, all other reputed institutes in tie-ups with their technology partners. So I run a course called Advertising and PR, which is gives you a specialization in these fields. It's a 1 year postgraduate certificate, now into its 8th batch. So it's an established program. I see a lot of pros as compared to cons because number one, there are people who have started working after graduation who did not get the opportunity to do their postgrads because of various reasons, right? Because of various responsibilities or pressures or all. So that is one. Number two, there are people who want to shift careers at a certain stage, right?
Yes.
And but
Yes.
they don't have the flexibility to do it full time. So
Yes.
I want to go from the client side to an advertising agency and start working there. But am I qualified enough? Answer is no.
Mhm.
Can I leave my job and go for the 2 year program of MICA? Again, answer is no, because I have responsibilities. Because
Yes.
I don't want to lose out on the 2 years. And I think I'm old enough to go in a proper educational setup for 2 years. Right? So
Yes.
for these kinds of audiences, online program is like a blessing. So online programs are usually run for working professionals who are either looking at uh, uh, gaining a skill or enhancing a skill. So either it's a new skill that you want to gain, you want to certify yourself from none other than MICA, that you are now a certified scholar in advertising and PR, or you require that skill to upgrade in your career hierarchy. You want that next promotion for which this certificate will be helpful. So I see a lot of pro because bandwidths are improving, technology is improving. Like just to give you my own example, we started this program as an online program where students will have to go to the center in a particular location and study. Okay, for that class, it's live class. Now we have moved to a technology of video conferencing where they get the live class right on their laptops in their home, so they don't have to travel anywhere. If they're traveling in a metro, still from their tablet they can attend the class. So technology has improved a lot of given a lot of flexibility to this. But only if I tell you the only limitation that I see, you lack on terms of class dynamics, what you learn from each other. So while you try to replicate the class model and you try to give lot of options like group projects, group assignments, Skype, projects and all that, but still the value of a learning inside a class can never be, can never match an online program, never. So the 2 years that you spend on campus, what you do inside class, what you do outside class, the camaraderie that you have with your, fellow batchmates in those 2 years, the networking that you do with faculty, I think nobody can take away the pleasure and the luxury of doing a regular full-time, residential program. But yeah, for working professionals without flexibility to leave their jobs, online program is turning out to be a big blessing. Big blessing.
I agree, ma'am. It is helping a lot to augment their careers, learn a lot. Even I myself, I take some MOOCs on and off, and
Hmm.
there's so much. So with it's like not that with the MBA the education is over. We can learn throughout our
Exactly,
lifetime.
and yeah, good you told me that, because it reminds me of, you there are certain people who constantly want to learn new areas. So every 1 year you cannot leave your job and go and learn in a school. You will have to do it the online way. Plus, it gives you a lot of range of subjects that you can study. So
Right.
you do a 3 month program on data analytics, you do a 6 month program on social media strategies, you do a 1 year course on advertising and PR, you do a 2 year executive, diploma from IM Code, which is equivalent to an MBA. So there is a lot of, choices that you can do while continuing to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, ma'am. So it's a very strong tool at our disposal, and we should make use of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, final question, ma'am. What would be your message for the marketing enthusiasts of our online community, mbaclubindia.com?
Yeah. See, I think I'm in the business of teaching, which is a lot of giving gyan and all. But nonetheless, I'm a true teacher. So I'm an extremely involved teacher. So if that means I have to give gyan, I have to give gyan because I have to stay true to my cause. So one is, I think MBA enthusiasts need to read a lot, because I see reading which is going little down in today's generation. Again, thanks to Twitter, Facebook, and the digital world, but nothing comes close to reading a good book. So whichever is your area of interest, please keep reading. And what I find in today's youngsters is that they lack the ability to engage in conversations with people because they are limited by their understanding. The moment you read more, it increases your conversation points, right?
Yes.
It increases your breadth of conversation. So you can talk to people about a new book that you read, about a new article that you read. You can quote it in some personal interview of a business school, right? So please keep reading. And if you are a marketing enthusiast, portals like afax.com, right? Your exchangeformedia.com have to be your Bible, have to be your like your prayer book, which you must visit. Brand equity, you have to read. You have to read Economic Times. You need to know what is working in this nation. You need to know, you need to question that how come, the FDI, how is it impacting my business, right? How is this 14% service tax? How is it going to impact service industries? And how will service industries convince consumers to pay more for every bill, every transaction? Right? So I think unless and until you read, your curiosity meter does not go up. So
Right.
please read a lot, not
Yes.
only business, read books, read fiction, read philosophy, read any genre, but read, okay? Reading, nothing comes close to reading. That is one. Second is, I think you need to evolve as a human being. Marketing enthusiasts, future MBAs, right? Try being a better human being day by day, understand very, very sensitive issues like caste, religion, gender, and have a very broad understanding of that. Stop judging people, right? That is how you evolve, right? Stop giving inequalities, start raising your voice towards equality, right? So the next time someone is criticizing someone's body shape, you should not be joining in. That is how you evolve, right? You should be staying away from judging someone by skin color, by body shape, by hair, right? This is the last you should be doing. So number one, reading. Number two, keep evolving as a human being. Be a little more sensitive towards yourself and others, and start questioning some norms which have been established by the society, because education brings in the ability to question in a right way, right, with some logic. So I
Yes.
think these are two of my key messages for the
Right.
marketing enthusiast. Number one, be and see, I remember my teacher's statement which she had made in my farewell of the college where I was graduating. So one of the teacher whom I respect a lot, she had said that confidence without capacity and capacity without confidence does not make any difference. I'll repeat,
Yes.
confidence without capacity and capacity without confidence does not lead to anything. So
Right.
develop both. Develop capacity. Capacities are developed with content, and content is developed with reading, right? Maybe in marketing, there's a very high importance being given to glamour, packaging, and the first impression. But I am going backwards and saying that the first impression will not last if content is weak, right?
Right.
Your first impression may be very strong, but to have the impression maintained on a longer period of time, you will have
Right.
to build up a lot of content inside you. So content, capacity, confidence all goes hand in hand. That's my message.
Thank you so much, ma'am. These are some of the wonderful insights that I'm sure not just the MBA or the management fraternity, everybody would like to listen to you,
Thank you so much.
catch on to your advices, and follow what you're telling. Thank you, ma'am, from the entire team of MBA Club India and its members. Thank you for giving us your precious time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And maybe you can give my email ID with the video transcript which you are going to place. People can get back to me, right, if they want, with any queries for the dialogues if they want to establish.
Yes, ma'am,
Huh?
definitely.
Have a good day.
Same to you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.